What is up, guys? So today I am officially 6 months sober. It's been 183 days since the last time that I drank alcohol back in November of 2023. And I wanted to take today as an opportunity to talk about why exactly it was that I failed so many times in the past and what's made this time different to where now I don't have any cravings, any desire to go back to that lifestyle, and I am fully solidified in the framework of wanting to stay sober. So, going back a little bit to the start of my journey, and that was back in 2019, is when I first realized that I had a problem with alcohol and that I needed to stop. And after making that realization, I embarked on doing Sober October, which only lasted that entire month. And then after that, I had a few other phases where I went over 100 days alcohol free twice. I did 75 hard, but only made it 60 days one time, and went around 50 days completely sober from everything two other times. So it's not my first rodeo, and it's been a long journey to get here, but I feel as though I've finally figured out why it was that I went back to all those vices and why I was unsuccessful and how I was able to understand that and then be able to address it to where now I don't have any cravings or any desire to go in that direction. All right, so I feel like the biggest reason for me as to why I went back every single time is because I felt like something was missing. And, having gone through so many years of going out almost every weekend and being in the EDM scene where that's what it's all about. It's all about the drugs and alcohol. It's a party every single time. And in addition to that, I became a DJ later on in my EDM career, which further solidified me just being in that circle and in that phase. But I also built a friend group of people that did the same thing and had a similar lifestyle. So whenever I would step away from it and try to go sober, try to take a break, I would always feel like I'm missing out because all my friends were doing it and I wanted to feel like I was a part of the tribe. So, the main thing that was the issue with it is that I was unable to fill that void with something productive, something that I could actually build and, find a sense of purpose through. And what you guys have to realize is that we all have this deep void that's ingrained into us, and most of us try to fill it with the wrong things, such as drugs and alcohol, like what we're talking about right now. But it could also be women, pornography, video games, social media, music, movies, TV. It could be anything because we live in a world now where there's so much instant gratification, instant sources of pleasure at our disposal that it's right in your face. So it's very easy to gravitate towards that as opposed to gravitating towards something productive that you can build, like a skill set or a hobby or anything that's going to set you in the right direction. So it's made it to where most people seek out these easy access sources of dopamine and of pleasure to where, like you can do it super easily and it's right in front of you, but then it puts you in a cycle of wanting to go back to it and to not want to actually work hard to achieve a similar feeling, which is a more delayed gratification source of happiness and joy. One of the biggest issues right now is the fact that people are unable to find a sense of fulfillment and purpose through their direct line of work. So they end up gravitating towards these easy sources of pleasure and of satisfaction that are always fleeting. And the only way to ensure that you can have a constant sense of joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment is through channeling your purpose and by doing something hard, something that pushes you every single day to be better. And as a result, you'll be able to provide more to this world. And we live in a society, in a world that has all of these external sources of pleasure at our disposal that are so easy to just gravitate towards, when in reality, you need to look in yourself and be able to identify what it is that you actually like doing. What do you want to bring to this world? What do you want to study? What do you want to focus on? Because everything else is just merely a distraction that takes you away from who you are and just makes you into a different person that is just a consumer and that's always seeking the next high, as opposed to being the person that's a creator, someone that's ambitious, someone that's pushing themselves every day to be at the highest version of themselves. And I know it's hard to embark on that journey. And it took me a few weeks to really, get into that flow and into that cycle because, you really have to shed your old self and all of your habits, everything that you used to do in the past that led you to all those vices. And you need to replace that with habits that set you on the path to becoming the best version of yourself. And, that's what's worked for me. I know other people might not see it the same way, that you don't have to go to that extreme, but, I think in order to really, be able to be on the path to not even wanting to go back to any of that, then you need to be, on a mission every single day. You need to live life every single day with purpose, not just having this like far-fetched goal in the future that you want to aim towards, but just like having a more micro sense towards it and just wanting to just make yourself 1% better every single day, holding yourself to a higher standard and not even wanting to go back, not wanting to lower yourself to all those vices and to all that bullshit. Because every single day that you take actionable steps and that you feel yourself get better, it's going to reinforce that you are getting better and that you're shedding your old self and you're becoming someone new and you're creating a new identity that does not associate with all that shit that you did in the past. And the more that you can reinforce that, the less you're going to want to go back to it because it's not in line with your current vision and your current mindset. And you need to be able to create a new identity, like I said, but within that, just have a vision of the person that you want to be and live in alignment to that vision every single day so that you can become that person. Because I'm at the point now to where the thought of even like submitting to those vices and wanting to have an instant source of pleasure just makes me feel so weak-minded, and it would just make me deviate from my current path, and I would feel like a hypocrite. And I have so much built up, so much pent up progress right now to where if I were to deviate, I would just feel like a complete fool. And I've just been able to really find like a new version of myself and just be able to like really tap into who I am, because I've been able to go back into my youth, being able to identify what I had a natural inclination towards back then and being able to channel that now, as opposed to always looking out externally for something else just to take my attention away. But the more that you tap into who you are, the more that you remove everything holding you back, the more it's going to become clear what that vision is, what kind of person that you want to become, and what kind of impact you want to have on this world. So it all starts with just taking the first step to being able to remove what's holding you back, but then being able to implement systems, habits, processes that hold you accountable. And then as you do that, you get better and better. And the better that you get, the less you're going to want to go back to that bullshit. And it's all just like a positive feedback loop. But the one thing that you might struggle with is being kind of alone. You have to realize that as you're on this journey, you're going to be able to attract like-minded people eventually. The more that you raise your value and the more that you can do that, you're going to be able to attract who you are. But the reason why when you're in a low frequency state, when you're just out here partying all the time, and you attract people that are doing the same thing, because you attract what you are. So when you're in that state of just always wanting to party and you meet people at these parties, then you're going to feel like you have a connection with them when in reality it's more than likely superficial. But when you elevate your mindset, elevate your life to a new level, you're going to be able to attract higher value people in your life, which is going to further solidify you being on the right path and on the right journey. Hope all that made sense. I know that was kind of a ramble, and I know a lot of people, it might sound extreme, but my current mindset and the frame of mind that I'm in, I feel like people just don't really realize their true potential and what they're capable of, and like what impact all these distractions, vices, like what it's actually doing to you. And you're not even yourself. You're always seeking out the next high, the next source of pleasure, and it's just like creating a facade, and you need to be able to break that down to be able to see who you really are. And I know a lot of people probably don't have that much of a tie to it, or they might have created a narrative within their mind that it's not that bad, like it's a source of fun, it's an outlet, like we all need to have fun, we all need to have balance. But if you have that mindset of needing to have balance, you're going to find a way back to it. And if you're watching this video, that implies that you have a problem with alcohol or another substance. And if you have a problem with it, if you go too deep, then you just need to eradicate it completely. Because some people might be able to have balance based on their goals and what they want out of life. But if you go too deep, then you need to be able to take everything away. You need to be able to eradicate everything and just cut everything off, and then be able to create a new character, someone that does not even entertain that, and hold yourself to a higher standard so that you can become the best version of yourself. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up right here because I feel like I'm being a bit repetitive, but hope you guys took something away from that. And just remember, the time is now. See y'all on the next one. Peace out.